friends, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. We have a dehydrating project to do today. If you would like to make a chicken broccoli Alfredo meal in a jar with us, probably next week, you're going to want to do this project. We're going to be dehydrating broccoli. I'm going to show you my favorite method for dehydrating broccoli, but then I will talk you through the other way that you can do it in case you want to do it the other way. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my favorite way to dehydrate broccoli is going to be using frozen broccoli. The reason why is kind of twofold, because it is already blanched for you. Obviously, it's already chopped up for you, but it's already blanched for you too. So it really is as simple as open the bag and pour it onto your trays. The other reason is that frozen vegetables go on sale a whole lot more often than your fresh vegetables do. So you can actually get a really good deal. Sometimes getting frozen broccoli cuts a good bit cheaper than what you can get fresh broccoli at the grocery store. So I'm going to do the frozen broccoli route, and then we'll talk you through how to do it in fresh if you wanted to do it fresh as well. But like I said, it really is as simple as just opening and putting it onto the trays. I have had several questions. Number one, can you even dehydrate frozen vegetables? Yes, you can. The other question that's common is, do you have to thaw them first? No, you don't. The other question, or kind of secondary question to that, is, well, what about all of this ice? What about all this water? Yeah, it's going to take longer to dehydrate, but that's okay because it's hands off, right? If you're in a pinch and you need to do this as fast as possible, fresh is going to be better for you, because it is going to take longer, because I mean, all of this is moisture, right? We have to get all that moisture out through the dehydrating process. So it is going to take you longer. To me, that's never a problem, because again, this is a hands-off method. So it's not like it's taking me time to deal with. But just bear that in mind. The water will simply drip through and you'll be fine. It'll still dehydrate. It's just going to take you longer. The only tip that I have for you with broccoli, especially with broccoli cuts, is that they are in somewhat big chunks. And so you do want to be careful with spacing things out good. Now, I'm not going through and literally putting like an inch of space in between each chunk, but just making sure that it's all on a single layer. And that's really true for pretty much any vegetable you do. I'm going to go ahead and go on a middle rack here because of chunks like this. And I'm going to cut up this one and put it on one of the bottom layers. Whenever you have something tall like this, so for instance, a couple of chunks were taller than what my shelves are, then you simply take out one of your trays and then put a space. So I'm going to fill up this tray and put it on the bottom, and I'm going to leave this tray out, and that solves that issue. You could certainly, again, thaw it out, chop it up smaller, and avoid that, but I don't really want to do all that. So that's how you can do a workaround and still get them done as quickly as possible. Okay, let's talk about the other way. Also, I don't know if you noticed while I was working on that first tray, if a big chunk of ice will come off easily, this is all ice right here. I'm just going to rub it off and toss it over there to the side, and I'll clean it up later. Same thing with this big chunk of ice right here. It poured out of the bag. Just going to put it over there on my oven, clean it up later. So you can kind of go through here and get off any chunks of ice just to help the dehydrator get done through the process faster. But it's really not a big deal, I promise. Okay, I'm going to get all this straightened out. Let's talk about the other way. I'm going to put footage on screen of me blanching and ice bathing potatoes. So you can be seeing that process while I'm talking you through it. It is the exact same process with broccoli. So just pretend like you're seeing broccoli instead of potatoes. If your broccoli is chopped up, which it should be for this use case when we're making meals in jars, you only need to blanch it for 2 minutes. You're going to bring your pot up to a bring it up to a boil, and then drop your broccoli in, set a timer for 2 minutes, and then use a slotted spoon to take it out. And then you're immediately going to plunge it into an ice bath. So an ice bath is just a really big bowl of water, cold water filled with ice, and you're just going to, basically that stops the cooking process. You're going to let it sit in that ice bath for just 1 minute or so. It doesn't take long at all, just 1 minute to kind of stop the cooking process, and that's it. So let's talk about that ice process real quick as I put this into, see, this is a big chunk. I'm just going to kind of tear that real quick just to make it lay flatter, make it more even. Here's a big chunk of ice. I'm just going to scoop that out right there. That's all I do, y'all. Nothing fancy. Again, I'm adding a gap in between my shelves so that I don't have to worry about the shelves kind of getting in the way, okay? Let's go over the temperature real quick, and then I want to talk to you about that ice bath and blanching process. This is a vegetable, so I do all of my vegetables at 125 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just how I do it, and even if it takes a little bit longer than cooking it at a higher temperature, you're going to be preserving more nutrients the lower the temperature. So I pretty much set my dehydrator at 125 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's where it stays unless I'm doing meat. Okay, I hope the sound of that dehydrator isn't too loud. It shouldn't be. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the ice bathing because we did have this question recently on our dehydrating cabbage video. The person noted that I did not ice bath the cabbage and wanted to know why. So here's my thoughts on that. The only vegetable that I am very strict about blanching and ice bathing is potatoes. Because potatoes are pretty much the only vegetable that will change color dramatically, and the quality decreases dramatically if you don't blanch and ice bath. All the other vegetables is kind of personal preference. It's just kind of more of a what do you want. So here's what they achieve. Blanching achieves color retention, and they say it also helps retain nutrients. I don't know for sure how true that is, but that's what they say, so I guess I believe it somewhat. But it definitely retains color. It makes your food brighter. Carrots are going to be super orange if you blanch them. Cabbage, super duper green if you blanch them. Same thing with broccoli. They might come out of your dehydrator looking kind of bright, but when they sit on your shelf for about a month, they will start to darken. So blanching helps prevent that darkening process and keeps your vegetables brighter and just nicer looking over a long period of time. The blanching process also helps them rehydrate just a little bit quicker. We're talking 5-minute difference. It's not significant, but a 5-minute difference rehydration process. They're going to rehydrate a little quicker blanched than not blanched. Now ice bathing, that is stopping the cooking process. Again, the only vegetable that I make sure I do an ice bath for is potatoes, because they are so finicky, they will turn gray in a heartbeat. All other vegetables, my thinking is I don't really care if the cooking process stops. To me, if it cooks just a little bit, it's going to rehydrate even faster, because cooked vegetables are going to rehydrate and cook up faster if they're already partially cooked. You know what I mean? Like if we're already partially cooking before we dehydrate, then it's just decreasing the amount of time that's going to take to cook when we go to make our meal. So I personally am not concerned about doing an ice bath for most things. They say that an ice bath stops the cooking process and stops like an enzyme process that can, I guess, further degrade the food in food storage. That has not been my experience. I have only ever been super strict about potatoes, and I have dehydrated pretty much every fruit and vegetable you can possibly dehydrate over the last decade, and I've never had an issue with the food being poor quality after sitting 6 months to a year on my shelf. Okay, so that's my 2 cents. That's my experience. Take that for what it's worth. It might not be worth much, but that's my story when it comes to blanching and ice bathing. A lot of times I will just skip the whole ice bath process and put it straight into my dehydrator. But anyway, so 125 degrees Fahrenheit for this broccoli. As far as timing goes, I know people want a time, but that's just not how it is with dehydrating. You just go until it's done. That's going to vary depending on your environment. It is extremely humid in my area right now. We have storms off and on all day for the past yesterday and today and tomorrow. So it's going to take me longer than if I were doing it on a super duper dry week in the summer. A lot of times I will, it's 12, okay, it's almost 1 o'clock. I'm going to check it before I go to bed tonight. I'll check it probably around, we'll say 9. That'll be what, 8 hours? It might be done by then. And when I come back, I will let you know how long it took. But a lot of times, if it's not quite done yet when I go to bed, let's say I check it at 9 o'clock, it's not quite done yet, I will actually lower the temperature down to about 115 degrees Fahrenheit and let it go throughout the night. What that's going to do is ensure that it is thoroughly dry without like overcooking it or even making it almost burnt and tough, which you're not going to burn it in the dehydrator, especially not at that temperature, of course, but it can get really tough And decreasing that temperature to let it go overnight is better than taking a partially dried product out at that point, if that makes sense. But I will let you know when we come back what all happened, how the timing worked out, and all of that. Okay, so we will see you back then in a little bit. Okay, the broccoli is done. It did finish last night by 9 o'clock. I just did not package it up. I went ahead and left it in there. It was completely and thoroughly dry, so I didn't need to continue running the machine. So to know that broccoli is done, if it's the chunks, which y'all, if you're brand new to dehydrating, this is a reality check about how tiny it gets. This was one of those cubed chunks of a stem, and it's just absolutely tiny. But if it's a cubed stump chunk or something, you should be able to squeeze it really hard and almost powder it. Sometimes they'll be too hard to even powder, and you'll just kind of break it apart. Like this one is so hard I can't even break it. That is completely and totally dry. The broccoli florets are going to be the most likely to have trapped moisture on the inside, but if you can, again, crush it. I don't want to crush it too much because I do want some broccoli stems in our final recipe. And then if you can snap the stem and it makes a loud crack like that, it's done. So with dehydrated foods, you definitely want to vacuum seal them. They are going to be prone to taking back that moisture, re-moisturizing, I don't know what the word would be, rehydrating in the jar with just the environmental moisture. So you definitely want to vacuum seal. I will show you, in case you are brand new to vacuum sealing or you haven't heard of the manual way that you can vacuum seal with no charger, no batteries, no machines. I will show you that as well. So that was a 2-pound bag of broccoli, and as you're going to be able to see, it dehydrates down to about 1.5 cups, which is amazing to me. I've been doing this for more than a decade, and it always amazes me how much it dehydrates down. But look how beautiful green that is. That's because the frozen products are blanched. If you don't blanch, you won't get that vibrant green color. Okay, there we go. Just shy of 2 cups, but showing if I were to crunch it down, it would be about 1, 1.5, 1 3/4 cups. Okay, so let me show you my brake bleeder pump. It is a mechanics tool for bleeding brakes, but it works great for vacuum sealing. You're going to need an attachment. They have all sorts of brands. This one is the 4 Jars brand, but you just need, these are available all over the place on Amazon. I'll link some below. And then the brake bleeder, you just pump it until the needle stops moving. Here's the needle. As soon as I start pumping, it's going to start moving, and you just pump until it stops moving. Typically, that's going to be between the 15, around the 15 mark, between the 15 and 20 mark. So I'm at 10, I'm at 15, needle's still going, probably because I got a lot of air in the jar. Okay, I'm at 18-ish. It's getting very hard for me to pump now, and the needle is barely moving, so I'm just going to do a few more pumps, and it'll be done. And it is vacuum sealed. And we will be ready to use this in our one-pot meal. The giveaway is open. We did officially change the name to Mix in Jars Volume 2. And we'll have at least 1 chapter, if not 2, dedicated to one-pot meals like the one that we will make soon with this dehydrated broccoli. That link is in the description box if you want to enter that giveaway. Or you can comment broccoli, and I'll send you the link directly so that you'll be notified in your comments, and it'll be sent to you directly. You can find it that way in case you have a hard time finding things in the description box. That's all for today, and we'll see you next time. I got a lot of cleaning up to do. Bye.